Hey friends, and welcome to Field Notes, a space where we share stories and reflections on what God is doing in and through a people known as the Woodlands Methodist Church. I'm Mark Sorensen, the senior pastor of TWMC, and today we're leaning into one of the pillars of our mission as a church, and it's this: helping those in need. You know, we just wrapped up an incredible season with our Beyond Capital campaign. And now we're beginning to see how that vision is taking shape, not just in buildings, but in bold mission. Joining me today is Reverend Dr. Ashley Goad, our pastor of missions, who leads both our local and global outreach efforts. In this episode, we're going to uncover the top 5 things you may not know about missions at the Woodlands Methodist Church, how Beyond is opening new doors for impact, and why the mission field might be closer than you think. So whether you're curious about getting involved, or you simply want to hear how God is moving across the street and around the world, this episode is for you. Hey, it's a great conversation, and you're going to be blessed by it. So let's jump in. Well, Ashley, thank you for joining me for this conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, someone just, it's really funny. Someone said recently, they said, you and the pastors, it's like, do you all like each other? It's like you like each other. And I said, no, we do.
We do.
We have a good time together. All right. So before we jump in to the deep conversations about missions.
Thank you.
There's one question here that I did not prep you for. I gave you your homework.
Yes,
but this is the mystery
I have the
one.
homework. Okay, great.
This is the mystery one.
I'm ready.
I worked hard on this one. Ashley, if you could instantly hop on a plane and visit any country we partner with for missions, just for the food,
Ooh.
Where are you going to go and what are you eating? So proud of that one.
I would go to Phuket, Thailand, and have tom kha soup and pad thai.
Okay.
Yeah.
Phuket, Thailand.
Yes.
And what kind of soup?
Tom kha.
Tom kha.
Tom kha soup.
And why? Like why? So tell me what's...
It's a coconut-based soup, and it makes you just feel warm and happy all over. Like you've just had a cup of home that you're there drinking it, and it's just so lovely. You feel right at ease.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I have to go to Disney World. Where is it that they have you can eat around the world?
Yes.
But that's just literally in Orlando. So.
There's a place down in downtown Houston now called Traveler's Table, and each page of the menu is from a different country or a different location.
Wow.
Around the globe.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us for the podcast today. That's all the time that we have.
Let's go eat.
Let's go eat around the world. Well,
really
thank you for saying yes. You have been here on staff as the missions pastor for a year.
A solid year.
And I mean, for all rights and purposes, can we say you're just still kind of learning the role?
Yes,
right?
I still don't know everybody's name in the office.
You have 47 years of history at the Woodlands Methodist Church, and I remember when I came 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was literally, Nikki and I, because we have a heart for missions, and this church's heart for missions is just incredible. And it is both local and it's global.
Right.
So we have a huge missions program. And Ashley, just bragging about you, you spoke at administrative board recently.
Oh, yes.
And I think it was like top 10, right? The top 10 things about the missions program at the Woodlands Methodist Church. People are still talking about that today. So here's what I want to do is I want to give you an opportunity. Now, again, because of time.
Okay. Top 5?
Top 5.
Top 5. Okay.
Can you just top 5 things that people may not be aware about when it comes to the missions program at the Woodlands Methodist Church?
Okay, here we go. Number 1, small staff, 4 people. We have me as the pastor of missions.
Yeah.
We have a new assistant director of missions, Amber. Fantastic. So glad she's here. I can already feel the stress coming off of me. Wonderful. We have Lauren Burnham and Alba Cowles, who are our assistants there too. So we are the mission staff for the whole Woodlands Methodist Church,
Incredible.
not just the Woodlands campus, but all 4 of our campuses.
Yeah.
So we're leading up the missions ministry with our committee. We have about 25 people on that committee now, but we're reforming, reimagining what that will look like in the future. Most of them have been on for that 47 years, or at least 45 years.
Yeah, for sure.
And we have 88 partners, we have 140 partners, 88 global and 52 local. And so that makes for a very packed missions ministry family around the
Wow.
world.
Wow.
So that's one.
Small staff, big program.
Exactly.
Okay.
Good. That was good.
Got it.
Yeah. We every October we have our missions pledge, faith promise giving,
Right.
where we raise all of our funds. It's called a missions conference. I think once upon a time we held a conference for like the whole month, but now we have 4 campuses. We're just trying to get to all of them in that month. So it makes for a fun month. We're flying in several of our partners this year. But during that month, we raise all of our pledges for the next year's budget.
Yeah.
So the 2025 budget was $3.3 million this year. Amazing. Just incredible.
And it's one of those, I just don't know of any other churches that do it this way, but you have your stewardship,
right,
which is separate from your actual missions budget. So literally, when you're giving to missions, every dollar is going to missions, which is unique how we do it as a church.
And I love it too, because when I think about it, not just in dollars, I think about a pastor trained in Tanzania.
Yeah.
I think of a translation of a Bible going in their native tongue.
Yeah.
I think of a foster kids camp that happens during the summertime.
Yeah.
There's just so many tangible ways that we're meeting a need in our community and in our world.
Love it.
So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, so we have about 3 buckets of the missions ministry when you're thinking about it, and they go right along with our church's mission. So reaching people for Jesus, that's the first bucket. And I think of that as multiplication.
Right.
How do we multiply that effort? So we're investing in church planting. We're investing in theological education. We're investing in unreached people groups and underserved regions. So we're multiplying ourselves and reaching people for Jesus.
Yeah.
The second bucket is disciple them in faith.
Right.
And so I kind of call that the discipleship bucket.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel. I mean, keep it there.
And so that's talking about like spiritual formation, it's
Right.
mentoring, biblical literacy all around the world and in our community here too.
That's beautiful, yeah.
And then our third bucket, we call it, I still don't know a good name for this, but like a pre-discipleship bucket, also like a compassion bucket.
Yeah.
And this is helping those in need.
Yeah.
So it would be the water wells, it would be the medical clinics, it would
Yeah.
be the feeding programs, it would be that type of thing. And so we try really hard to have a third to keep a well-balanced missions
great.
ministry around the world. So there's that.
Love.
I also love, this would be number 4, Society of Saint Stephen. Say that 5 times fast. Society of Saint
We do
Stephen.
once a month on the first Sunday of the month.
Exactly. Well, that's why I wanted to hit upon it, because I believe that this year we have already given somewhere around $219,000 away to meet immediate needs.
Right.
So whether it's someone calling about an electrical bill or a rental facility or something that they are having trouble with, that we can help them immediately.
And this is right here.
This is
Montgomery
right here
County.
in our Montgomery County. It's, I think, is zip code 77380 to 77387 or something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's right here in Montgomery County, or for any of our church members that are in need, that need help with assistance. And it's all powered, our whole SOSS is powered by volunteers. We don't have a staff member dedicated to that.
Wow.
And so I believe we did the numbers. I have it written down. It's 7,000 hours a year, which is like 3.5 full-time employees.
That's incredible,
Just
Ashley.
incredible. And we just love them. They have the office right beside me. They come in and make their phone calls every day and talking to people. And it's so beautiful to see God working through our volunteers to relate and to pray and to love the people of our community.
Ashley, this is probably another podcast and another conversation, but I think it's so easy to hire people, and hiring people is not a bad thing. But there are people sitting in our pews who would love to serve. And if given the opportunity to serve, they come alive. We've got golf cart drivers.
Yes.
That Sunday morning, they have just found their thing, picking up people in the parking lot and driving them. So it's really sweet when people move from being an observer, a watcher on Sunday, to actually stepping in because they get a taste for ministry, right?
Exactly.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And then the last thing I'll say too is when you're talking about that 47 years of wonderful missions ministry at this church, I believe it was really founded upon a love of theological education.
Yep.
Ed Robb had a great love of theological education. If we can train someone in their own culture, context, and language, how much more of a net they will have. And so I love that we're investing so fully in about 22 theological institutions around the world, so that we really do have a footprint in all of those communities.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
There are just so many, when you sit down and just someone says, so tell me about the missions, there's just so many different aspects to it, and
Right.
it's incredible. All right. So the purpose of this podcast, really what we're doing is we're kind of talking through our values and how beyond this capital campaign that we just recently had, right, is really beyond buildings were a part of it, but it was never just about buildings.
Right.
I like to think it's about a bold vision as we move forward,
Yeah.
being a part of this newly formed Wesleyan Orthodox denomination, the Global Methodist Church,
Right.
right? Ways that we can kind of help and empower. So when it comes to beyond, I think the question is, how has what we've just celebrated and beyond,
Mhm.
how is that speaking into the future of missions through this capital campaign that we've had here in our church?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think, too, looking back, we have grown so much. So I'm still a year in and
Yeah.
really learning things.
But someone who also has watched the church, right? You
Sure.
have seen the church. So I kind of
Yes.
love that. Yeah, that was there too.
Yes. So, but I think that just observing how things are going. So in a very short time, we've gone from 1 campus to 4 campuses.
Mhm.
We've gone from 12 pastors to what, 21?
22.
22 pastors, from 1 language to what, 3?
Yeah.
3 languages, a founding pastor to a new leadership.
Yeah.
We've gone from one denomination to another denominations. And
Yeah.
I think that, so what we're seeing with Beyond now is now we as missions have to step beyond where we were
Right.
and what is to come now.
Yeah.
And so that's been really fun of seeing how we can reframe missions at this church
Yeah.
and where God is leading us. Our missions committee has been praying for unity of the Spirit, for unity to just become so present and just settle in on us so that we can really see where God is working and where he wants us to work with him.
Good. Yeah.
And so we're reframing missions. Our missions committee is evolving into a governance committee, which is kind of exciting. So that means we'll have seats at the table and in various leadership rooms. So that will be good. I think the biggest part is when you grow so big so quickly that things start to become a little transactional. And we really don't want that. As a missions ministry, we want to focus on the relationship and we want to dive deeper with those that we have said, yes, we are in a covenant relationship with you. What does that really mean for us to walk through life with you?
Yeah.
And so taking that to the next level of diving in to transformational type missions. And then at the same time, creating on-ramps for all of our campuses. Like,
Right.
what does it look like to move beyond this campus
Yeah.
to our other 3 campuses so
Yeah.
that they too can feel an ownership of this is our missions ministry and this is how we want to jump out. So there are just so many ways that we're trying to reframe missions for our church and really focus in on congregational involvement.
Yeah.
So if we're wanting relationships with our mission partners, then 2, how do we create relationships between our congregation and those mission partners?
Yeah. That's beautiful.
It's just a small task.
Just a small, just a small task, but you're doing a great job. And it's not just you,
No,
right? Like
no.
there's so many people that are leaning in. So I think about, with everything that we do, Jesus said, Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to
Mhm.
the ends of the earth,
Right.
right? There is both a local emphasis of mission
Right.
and a global emphasis of mission. So as a part of this Beyond campaign, that's a twofold question for you. First is, what's the global emphasis here? Where do
Mhm.
we see a global reach that's happening?
Right. Well, and specifically to the capital, to the Beyond campaign.
Right, just through Beyond first.
So when we're thinking about that, we chose a couple of different initiatives that were completely separate from each other.
Yeah.
So we had one, we love Zoe Empowers. Gaston
Yeah.
Warner's been the director of that, the president of that for so long.
Yeah.
We love him. We've been on trips with him. We know him. We know the model of Zoe Empowers, of how it's not just an orphanage model, but really how can we invest into the youth of today,
Yeah.
train them and empower them, teach them skills, teach them life lessons so that they can they can contribute to their community and not just as they come out of the orphanage system, kind of left with a what do we do now?
Yeah.
But they're actually given the skills to sustain themselves, to care for their families, and to be a part of that community and help that community grow. So we're excited because they really were praying about what would be their next place, their next country of emphasis, and
Yeah.
Eswatini
Yeah.
was their place. They got together with the Alicia Keys Foundation, I do
You're
believe,
kidding me.
and started talking with them about the model that they have for children's empowerment empowerment. And so Eswatini will be their next Zoe Empowers campus. And we are excited because next year, when we go to South Africa for the Global Methodist Church Conference, that after that, I'm going to pop on over to Eswatini and see how things are going there.
So several years back, Nikki and I went to Africa and we got to witness the program and walk through it. It's a 3-year program, right? And I think you start with, the way that they kind of walked us through it was, you start with the 3 years, the ones who are about to graduate from the program, and they're business owners, they have a trade, and there is just this pride, just this sense of just look at what we're doing. And then you visit the 2 years, and then you visit the 1 year, and it's just your heart, the work that they're doing and the generational impact.
That's it.
Is huge.
Yes.
It's so huge. So someone that gives to missions here, I just wish you could pack everybody up and just go introduce you to people whose lives generationally are being changed because of just the gift of how you give.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly. And if
good.
anyone's looking for a trip next year in 2026, we will have a Tanzania trip to one of the Zoe Empowers campus. So that would be great to jump on.
Okay. So
the number 2 thing that we're doing in the Beyond campaign is church planting. So we found a kindred spirit in Luciano Pereira, and Dr. Jeff Olive came alongside too, and he has that church planter heart. And both of those guys, when you put them together, it's like an apostolic parade. It is just so good. The dreams, the visions, the connection to God, the way that God has planted all of this in them so that they can train others who will then go out and multiply. So we have decided to invest in Panama as a Central American hub for church planting and training. And so Jeff has already had the first church planters retreat and training. What was it, 75?
I think so.
Or so participants. And they were from not just Panama, they're from Brazil, from Portugal, it just was incredible.
And I can say too that as this podcast when it eventually comes out, you, myself, Nikki, my wife, and Jeff, we're going to Panama.
Yes, I can't wait.
Find me and ask me how the trip was.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm going to tell you. It was
amazing. Going to be so good.
It's going to be so
I've
good.
only been to Panama to the airport, so I can't wait to actually get out.
Go beyond the airport.
Exactly.
Actually leave security and go beyond. Look at that. Are you serious? First time.
Yeah. Because, I've had 3 trips that I was supposed to go, and of course, got canceled. So
here we are.
Here we are.
So that's the global through Beyond.
Yes.
Now let's talk about the local.
Yes. Well, something near and dear to your heart and mine as well is the Montgomery County Food Bank. I love Christine Marlowe, Scott Burns. They're such a great leaders there. And they had this dream, this vision of just growing so that they can meet food insecurity needs. And so they have built an entire new wing of where they will be able to double their production and meet even more needs of our community. We've partnered with them in such interesting different ways of yes, we send groups to go package food, we send groups to sort food, but then they've also opened up their warehouse so that we can have filming studios and leadership meetings. So it's been so good to see how our partnership comes into with them.
And Christine walked into that's a really big operation.
Yes.
And has just, with open hands, she and the team have just done an incredible job. Sometimes I feel like in the church, we feel like we have to start things, but I just think, boy, if someone is doing it well, walk alongside them. Why reinvent the wheel?
Oh, absolutely.
They're just doing an incredible job.
Absolutely.
So love that.
That's our whole idea for missions ministry, is to meet the people who God has called into a specific way and walk alongside them so that they can fully live into that calling.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So here's the next question. Okay. How are you seeing people move from being observers? Because for a long time in my own life, I was an observer. But I remember the first time that I said yes to just attending a trip, to actually to going. How are you seeing that? People move from observers to participants in ministry, in missions?
Well, I think one of our goals as a mission ministry staff is to help every congregation member understand that missions is not just the heartbeat of the church, but missions is the heartbeat of every person in the church. And so it's not just another ministry, that it's really a part of your discipleship pathway, that it's the fruit of being a disciple, being a follower, and this is how you want to serve. And when we say that, we say exactly what you said about Acts 1:8, that there's Jerusalem, there's Judea, there's Samaria, and there's the ends of the earth. There is not an or. There's no or in there. It's all of it.
That's great.
It is all of it. It's all of it. And so for you as a person, how is God calling you to Jerusalem? How can we help you meet the needs of your family and those in your community? How can we help you serve those that are in the Conroe or in the Woodlands area? How can we go over to that Cyprus or wherever Samaria is for us? How can we do that? And then how can we go to the ends of the earth? And you don't necessarily have to get on an airplane to do that. You can pray. You can pray specifically over a map with us. You can pray specifically over one of our partners. And I think that what we're trying to do this fall is we're doing a little beta testing of a thing called Adopt a Missionary. And so if every group of our church, whether it's a band, whether it's a class, whether it's a Bible study, Radiant group, Quest group, whatever it looks like, what if you have one of our partners? There's 140 of them. There's a lot of them. So what if you have one of our partners that you make your own? And that doesn't mean by giving them extra money. We're not calling you to that. We're calling you into a relationship with them. What would it look like to encourage them, to pray for them, to send them care packages, to ask them to come in and speak to your group, whether it's on Zoom or whether it's in person? So what would that look like to create one-on-one connection and for you to actually pour into that person and they too pour into you?
It's amazing. So you also said too that is there a list? So I'm guessing you already have a pretty good idea of where the mission trips are going to be next year, what they're going to look like. Also serve it up.
Yes.
I mean, here's two. There's two tangible ways that you can do it, right? But how can people find the trips for next year?
Right.
I didn't give you this question, so
That's
now
okay.
I'm off script.
No, I know the answer, so this is good.
Good.
As you say, our website is a bit like the Cheesecake Factory menu.
Yes.
So it's a little difficult to
start?
find, perhaps, but if you go to that top right corner and you do the big drop down, there is a missions.
Yeah.
And if you click on that missions, it will take you to a page. And one of those links or boxes, cubes on that page is going to have trips or global, and it will have where you can go and serve. And it also has a list of our local partners as well. So you can get to know our partners locally, globally, and you can also see the Serve It Up links, and then you can also see the trips for next year.
It's incredible. Okay. Yeah. So I kind of live vicariously watching your travels.
Yeah.
Do you just always have a bag packed? And how do you know what time zone you're in?
Never. I never do.
You just got back from where?
Where was I last? Turkey.
That's right, Turkey. Before that, you were in...
I don't remember where I was, Ecuador.
That's it.
That was
it. Ecuador that I was
in
thinking
Ecuador.
of. So you get these incredible moments just to see transformation, right? And to see stories. You're bringing stories back. So is there a story, local or global, that's stuck with you in whether it's talk with a mission partner or whomever, and just makes you go, yeah, this is why we do this?
I had some time to think about that, but two come to mind. One is I was in an African country. I believe it was Uganda. And we were just visiting the community. And we walked into a lady's house that I had met before. And we sat down and had lunch, and she hugged me and she was like, "You came back." And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, no one ever comes back."
Wow.
And it really hit me that we as Westerners, we as the American church, we like the shiny thing. Yeah. We like to come and go. We like the new thing, whatever's new. But what would it be to invest in relationship? What would it be to invest in presence? What would it be to say, this is the community that I love and I'm going to come back? And I think that that's part of where we're moving with our reframing our mission of making sure we invest deeply into the people that we call our partners. This last trip to Turkey is weighing heavy on me still. I was with a group of Syrian refugees. Most of them had fled Syria because of ISIS, maybe even up to 10 years ago. Wow. And they've been stuck. They've been stuck in refugee camps, stuck in the place they can't get out because they had to flee with nothing. And I was sitting at a home of, he had been a wedding dress designer and had sold his gowns to designers in Italy and in France, but now he was living in this really small area, and they just didn't have anything and they just felt stuck. And so we were sitting there on the floor and they pulled out a blanket and they just started serving us dinner. And I couldn't believe that they were offering us everything that they had. And he said something at the end of something to the effect of, "You being here made me feel like I mattered." And I couldn't believe that just us by being present, that they had felt forgotten, but by us being there and sharing a meal together, that they felt like they mattered again, that they were seen.
That's beautiful.
Mm.
I think about the feeding of the 5,000, right?
Mhm.
Like, there was never anything accidental that happened with Jesus.
Yeah.
He didn't just fall into a miracle. There was always a plan. I think
Mhm.
there was. So the moment that he looks at the disciples and says, give them something to eat, and they're like, are you kidding? We don't have much. But I always think the pattern of what happens in that story matters. Jesus said, take the little that you have and give it to me.
Mhm.
He doesn't say give it out. It has
Right.
to start in his hands. And then he blesses it,
Mhm.
and then he gives thanks for it.
Mhm.
And then he gives it back to them and says, now feed them, right? And I just think sometimes we get so overwhelmed that we don't even know where to start. I think it just starts with take the little that you have and give it to the Lord.
Mhm.
And then just let him give it back to you, and then you give out of that.
Mhm.
And I sometimes feel it's more of a blessing for me
Mhm.
than we're going to bless others, but I just feel like they bless me. Does that make sense?
Sure, absolutely.
So there's
Sure.
just something so beautiful. Missions, it is the heartbeat of the church, but the church is not a structure. The church is a people,
Mhm.
and it's the heartbeat of Jesus, right?
Absolutely.
So let me just say, Reverend Dr. Ashley Goad, thank you
No, thank you.
for saying yes to this. It's a big church and it's a big program, but it's not all on you. You've got a great team, and what a joy that we just get to see the Lord at work
Mhm.
and lives being changed and transformed, all for his glory. I will say it's just a fun story, right? So, Ashley, I never met you initially,
I-
but how our stories
Yes.
connect is Nikki, my wife, was the missions director at First Methodist Church in Shreveport, and apparently we knew that I was interviewing
Mhm.
here, and this part I disagree with my wife a little bit on, but she was on a mission trip
Yes.
in Haiti,
In Haiti.
and I guess I called to say I'm going to say yes to this job. So she, I thought we talked about it a little bit before then, but apparently I dropped that on her while she was on a mission trip in Haiti, and she said, "Okay, well I guess we're going to the Woodlands." So she goes to the airport,
Uh-huh.
knowing that she's going to step out of a missions role that she loves. And she said that there was this young girl who just did not look well. She was
No.
very sick
I was very sick.
and ended up striking a conversation, and it was you.
Yeah, sure was.
And on that plane ride on the way back, Nikki and you connected,
Mhm.
you interviewed, and you stepped into the role
Yes.
when Nikki left
Yeah.
for Shreveport, which is just, and here you are.
Divine intervention.
It's kind of sweet, right?
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, because I had worked myself out of a job in Haiti
Yeah.
and had trained up a whole Haitian staff. And so I had cholera and giardia back to back. And so I was looking mighty fine. Mighty
Gray.
fine.
I heard you were gray.
Yes, a little
And apparently
gray.
that's not a good color
Well,
to have.
it's not. And she was leading a medical team, and none of the medical team would actually come over and check on me. I looked so bad.
But Nikki was insistent.
But Nikki did.
Incredible. Glad you're here, and thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
It's a joy. Thank you.
Yeah.
To God be the glory.
Amen. Amen.